and Amit Chauhan sir has, okay, we have live stream. Chalo, badhiya, nice. Amit Chauhan sir has the experience of 21 years of experience in IT industry. He has worked in various companies like HCL, HP, and Veritas. Also, not just engineering degree, but he holds master's degree of computer application from Madura University and MBA from Symbiosis. He has very rich experience of working abroad. As you can see on the screen, he had given the trainings in various federations in the countries like United States, Australia, Singapore, China, Indonesia. आप इससे पता लगा सकते हो कि कितने पोटेंशियल है ये स्पीकर हम सबको एड्रेस करने के लिए. After becoming an active member of Lotus Voice Pune for past 10 years, he has conducted various seminars like Discover Yourself, Bhagavad Gita Basics, Advanced, Blossoming Consciousness, Power of Habits, Art of Parenting, Art of Teaching, Stress Management, and Need of Values. And not just in the corporate world, students. He had worked world of Cognizant. He had explored the world of Cognizant, Symantec, Veritas, Infosys, L&T, Wipro, TCS, Sinopran, and of course Dell EMC, because he is working as a senior engineering manager in Dell, right? So he has also made the lives of youth easier by inspiring them about spirituality and lifestyle, जैसे हम आज हमारे करने वाले हैं, by clearing our doubts and giving a session, a very wonderful session. And also over the years, he has been invited to deliver many sessions like this. And also not just our college, he has been given the sessions like many colleges over the country, like IIT Bombay, PICT, VIT, SGSS, Nanded, COP, and various other colleges in Pune. Awesome. We have Amit Chauhan sir on the screen. So thank you, sir, for joining us today. And let me introduce. Let show our gratitude to sir by putting thank you in the chat box. Thank you for joining, sir. Let us put thank you in the chat.
Thank you so much,
Okay,
Satyanarayan. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, sir. We can. We are
Okay,
able to hear.
great. I can see a lot
Over
of
to you,
energy in the room. Okay,
Yeah.
good evening, students. Very happy to be with all of you. Very grateful that your Sunday evening, you have taken your time coming for this session. I hope you make most of it. Like Mayur sitting in the galaxy, as Satyanarayan was saying. So we'll talk a lot more about the galaxy, our galaxy which we live in. And we want to make it very, very interactive. Feel free to unmute, ask questions, put it in a chat box. I can already see a lot of energy as your video is on. It helps me. Yes. So I can see the reactions. Okay. That you're not sleeping, you're active, right? I can see those expressions. Okay. Thank you so much. So I'll just share my screen and then we'll get started quickly. All right, you're able to see the screen now? Satyanarayan, you're able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, great. So discover the ultimate genius, right? Mastermind behind the mysterious universe. So many times when we look at this universe or when we look at the sky, when we see the stars in the night, right? Many of you might have noticed, uh, we definitely get that understanding that is somebody, we are not alone in this universe, right? We get that feeling. There must be somebody who's living on these stars also, right? And we have those questions in the mind: who has created these stars? How come these stars have come? How come? See, in the morning the sun comes, right? And it gives the sunlight. And uh, in the night when we want to sleep, generally at home, what do? We put on the night bulb, right? So there's a wonderful arrangement which is there now. When the night comes, the moon comes, right? That's like a small lamp, right? And for sun, you can predict for 10,000 years what time it will become, will have the sunrise. With the software, you can predict now, right? So we definitely get that question, that how come this universe is functioning so beautifully? See, we call this universe as cosmos, right? So cosmos definition, Oxford definition, if you look at what it says, is it's harmonious, systematic, and orderly universe. Okay. But then the question comes, who is the mastermind? See, everything we look around, we understand that there is somebody who has created that or who has maintained that, right? But who is that mastermind behind this universe? I'll ask you a question to start with. Okay. Suppose you're going through a parking lot और आपने पार्किंग में देखा एक घड़ी आपको मिली, वॉच. ओके, व्हाट आर द थिंग्स यू विल लुक एट, व्हाट इज द थिंग्स यू विल, इट विल कम टू योर माइंड. यू कैन पुट इट इन चैट विंडो. अगर आपको एक घड़ी मिलती है, आप क्या चीज उसमें चेक करेंगे सबसे पहले? What all thing you can notice? Brand, very good. So Akshay is saying we'll check the brand, and Anuj is saying we'll check the time. Thank you so much, thank you so much. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. So when we look at anything, very first question comes in our mind is that what is the brand. That means you already have that understanding कि ये watch किसी ने तो बनाया होगा, तो ये ब्रांड चेक करता हूं मैं, किस किस ब्रांड की वॉच है, राइट? सो फर्स्ट लॉजिकल थिंग आपने क्या चेक किया? हु इज द मैन्युफैक्चरर. एंड सेकेंड लॉजिकल थिंग आपने क्या चेक किया? टाइम चल रहा है कि नहीं. सी, जिस पर्पस के लिए वॉच बनाई गई है, टाइम देखने के लिए, राइट? सो वेदर इट इज वर्किंग कंडीशन और नॉट. तो आपने दो चीजें लॉजिकली चेक की, मैन्युफैक्चरर and whether it is serving the purpose or not. And anything we look around, these are the two questions we ask ourselves. Two logical question we ask ourselves, right? So should we not ask that question to ourselves also? Who is the creator? Who has created me? And what is the purpose of me being here? Right? So there's a famous poet, he says that 2 days very important in life. One, when you know when you're born, another is when you know why. Okay, so we will talk about the why and we'll go into our session with that background. Okay, who is the mastermind behind this mysterious? So a lot of mysteries are going to get solved today. Okay, all right, so with this, let's enter into our session. So this will be the flow of today's discussion. We'll talk about your observations. What are the famous scientists who talk about this? See, everybody has, even scientists are trying to answer this question. Who has created this universe? What is the purpose of we being here? Right? Everything has an order, everything has a purpose. So scientists are also trying to find out these answers, right? हमारे वैज्ञानिक जो हैं वो भी इन्हीं प्रश्नों का उत्तर के लिए जितना रिसर्च चल रहा है, अगर आप देखेंगे ये सब इसी के लिए चल रहा है, right? So we'll talk about those $2 million questions also. And then there's a lot of activity we will do, and we'll make it very, very interactive. And feel free to ask question anytime, put it in a chat window. Okay. And what's our prime duty after going through all this session? What's my duty now? What do I understand? What should I do now? Right? Any knowledge, any wisdom we get, how do I apply that in my life? That's our prime duty, right? So we'll talk about going this session. That's what's my prime duty. Okay, all right. So many questions we get when we look at this universe. Very first question comes in everybody's mind. Everybody is looking for that answer. All the scientists, everyone. Does God really exist? Okay, if I ask you this question, what do you think? Does God exist? If you think yes, God exists, you can put Y. And if you think you don't agree that God exists, you can put 9. N. No. Okay. Feel free to put no also. We would like to hear. We would like to hear more from those who are saying N. Okay. Because the tough question will be the one who are saying yes, because they have to prove actually. Okay. So Parth is saying no. Very good. I appreciate that. So those, Abhishek is also saying no. Okay. All right. And then we have Sumit, we have Shivraj. Okay. So now the tough question, as I said, tough question is the one who have said yes. Now, by the logical thinking, or through the observations, or through the scientific understanding, is there any proof that God exists? You can put your responses in the chat window. I'm talking about scientific and logical thing. Okay, like if I'm feeling thirsty, ठीक है, अभी अगर मुझे प्यास लगे, I have a bottle and it has a water. I can see the bottle, I can see the water, and if I drink water, it will quench my thirst, right? So I need those examples through which we need. So somebody is saying no proof. No. So that's what. So if those who have said yes and they are convinced that yes, God exists, can you give me such some examples through which logically and scientifically we can understand? If anybody wants to speak also, you can unmute and speak. And that's the first session, your observation, how we can observe the world around us and we can understand that yes, God exists. Any examples anybody want to give? So we air, very good. So we cannot live without a air, right? If you don't get a fresh air, we cannot live. And air also, if you look at it, आपका जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड और ऑक्सीजन का रेशियो है, अगर आप देखेंगे, इफ यू चेक, राइट, इट्स अ परफेक्ट रेशियो विच इज बीइंग मेंटेन्ड, समथिंग लाइक 28% एंड 72%, राइट? तो ये हु इज मेंटेनिंग दैट? हु इज मेंटेनिंग दैट इन द यूनिवर्स? अभी अपने घर में अगर आपको एसी, यू माइट हैव, काफी लोग होंगे जिनके घर एसी होगा, ठीक है? आप एसी में टेम्परेचर सेट कर सकते हैं, मुझे 22 डिग्री चाहिए, 24 डिग्री चाहिए, 25 डिग्री चाहिए, राइट? तो ये टेम्परेचर जब आप कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, दैट मींस यू आर कंट्रोलिंग दैट टेम्परेचर थ्रू दैट डिवाइस। तो इस पूरे यूनिवर्स का कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड और ऑक्सीजन का रेशियो कौन मैनेज कर रहा है? समबडी हु विल बी मैनेजिंग। वी मे नॉट नो हु इज ही, एज ऑफ नाउ वी आर नॉट डिस्कसिंग हु इज गॉड, what we are discussing is there is somebody who is managing this, and scientifically and logically how we can understand. So very good. So first is air. We have composition of air. There are so many gases which are there. अभी काफी साइंटिस्ट जब बाकी प्लैनेट्स पे जाने का ट्राई करते हैं और थ्रू साइंटिफिक ऑब्जर्वेशन दे वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड, तो सबसे पहले वो क्या चेक करते हैं? गैसेस का मिक्सचर कैसा है, एटमॉस्फेयर कैसा है, राइट? ऑक्सीजन है कि नहीं वहां पे, वाटर है कि नहीं, राइट? वी कैन नॉट प्रिपेयर वाटर इन आवर लैब। अभी वाटर का फॉर्मूला अगर मैं आपसे पूछूंगा, यू कैन वेरी इजीली से 2 हाइड्रोजन मॉलिक्यूल्स एंड 1 ऑक्सीजन मॉलिक्यूल, H2O, बट देयर इज सो मच ऑफ स्केर्सिटी ऑफ वाटर. Why can't we create that water in our lab if we know there are 2 hydrogen molecules? It's very simple, right? 2 hydrogen molecules and 1 oxygen molecule. Why can't we combine this and have a water? सारा problem solve हो जाएगा ना word का, right? So Raj has sent a very good message. He's saying soul is a form of energy. There must be a energy source powerhouse. Very good, very good. So when we say there is a power, there must be somewhere this source of power is coming from. Okay, that is what we are calling it as God. Okay. uh, Mahesh is writing, many people we have to control 1 or 2 satellite, but so many planets floating. Very good, very good. So this is what I say, I was coming to. It's through scientifically and logically we can understand. एक planet अगर आप देखिए, एक planet को भेजने के लिए पूरा एक नासा, वर्ल्ड के बेस्ट साइंटिस्ट जो होते हैं वो वर्क करते हैं, तब जाके वो एक सैटेलाइट को ऑर्बिट में डालते हैं और उस ऑर्बिट का सब कुछ मैनेज करते हैं, राइट? व्हाट अबाउट दिस प्लैनेट व्हिच इज फ्लोटिंग? ये प्लैनेट का कौन से क्रिटिकल पैरामीटर्स जो हैं ये कौन मॉनिटर कर रहा है, राइट? आई विल गिव यू अनदर एग्जांपल. अभी देखिए, जब आप बेबी बॉर्न होता है, 6 months 8 months तक he cannot eat anything, just needs a milk, that too mother's milk, right? The moment baby is born, the mother gets a milk. कैसे आ गया ये चमत्कार कैसे हो गया? Automatically, how did it function? Who created that? How did that milk comes, right? So we can see so many things we can observe around us, right? And we can understand that yes, there is somebody who is perfect in charge, or somebody who is perfectly managing this all affairs. I'll give you can also write examples. I'll also share few more examples. Like if I ask you which is the next season which is going to come, who can tell me which is the next season which is going to come? You can put it in a chat. Summer season. Hardik, so Hardik, I have a question for you. How come all of you are so sure that there is a summer season which is going to come? Everybody is writing summer season, right? How come you are so sure? अभी आपने देखा है कि अगर मैं पूछता हूँ आपसे, ये ट्रेन पुणे से, मुझे सपोज आई हैव टू गो टू दिल्ली, पुणे से दिल्ली जाना है, तो नेक्स्ट ट्रेन कब आएगी? आप इमीडिएटली क्या करेंगे? ट्रेन का टाइम टेबल चेक करेंगे और मुझे बता देंगे, या ऑनलाइन चेक करेंगे, आप मुझे बता देंगे। पर उस ट्रेन को प्रेडिक्ट करने के लिए आपने कोई चमत्कार नहीं था। आपने क्या किया? आपको पता है देयर इज ए मिनिस्ट्री विच इज वर्किंग, पूरा मिनिस्ट्री उसके ऊपर वर्क कर रहा है, जो पूरा शेड्यूल रेडी होता है ट्रेन का, उसका टाइम टेबल छपता है, देन यू नो यस दिस ट्रेन इज गोइंग टू लीव, और ये पुणे से यहाँ दिल्ली जाएगी, इस टाइम ये स्टेशन आएंगे। बट व्हाट अबाउट, जैसा मैंने पूछा आपसे अभी, राइट, अभी ये समर सीजन आएगा, उसके बाद फिर रेनी सीजन आएगा, उसके बाद फिर विंटर सीजन आएगा, ये पूरा सीजन कौन मैनेज कर रहा है? वन बाय वन एवरीथिंग इज कमिंग ऑटोमेटिकली. इज दिस ऑटोमेटेड वे? Even if anything is automatic does not mean there is nobody operating that. जैसे अगर आप देखेंगे कभी कभी आप एयरपोर्ट या इवन मॉल्स में भी जाते हैं, द मोमेंट यू पुट ए फुट, आपका डोर कैसे ऐसे ओपन हो जाता है. तो एक बच्चा जो है ना, वो बच्चे को कैसा लगता है कि अरे मेरी वजह से डोर खुला है, द मोमेंट जैसे ही मैंने पैर रखा ये डोर ओपन हो गया, राइट. बट अगर आप पेरेंट्स को पूछेंगे दे विल से नो, देयर इज अ वेरी इंटेलिजेंट सिस्टम व्हिच हैज बीन पुट, देयर इज अ सेंसर व्हिच इज देयर. वो सेंसर जब आप फुट रखते हैं वो सेंसर डिस्कवर करता है और वो गेट ओपन हो जाता है. दैट मीन्स वो ऑटोमेटेड सिस्टम किसी ने तो इंस्टॉल किया, किसी ने तो उसमें इंटेलिजेंस लगाया, तब वो ऑटोमेटेड सिस्टम वर्क कर रहा है. सो इवन इफ एनीथिंग इज वर्किंग ऑटोमेटेड डज नॉट मीन that there is nobody who is maintaining or there is nobody who has created that. Okay, so who has created and maintaining this? अगर वो सिंपल ग्लास डोर को ओपन करने के लिए एक सिस्टम है, ये पूरा यूनिवर्स जो चलाने के लिए कौन मैनेज कर रहा है वो सिस्टम? या वो किसने ऑटोमेटेड सिस्टम वो वहां पे डाला? यस, ब्लड, वेरी गुड एग्जांपल. ब्लड, यू, nobody can create blood, right? ब्लड हमें किसी पर्सन से ही चाहिए होता है एंड देन ओनली इट कैन बी ट्रांसफर्ड. इवन फॉर दैट सेक हनी, we cannot create that honey in our science lab, right? Through any of the, although we know everything, why can't we extract? So much automated systems are there, we cannot extract honey out of that flower, but bee does that automatically, fantastically, right? So ये blood भी अगर आप देखेंगे, another beauty of this blood is आप कितने अलग अलग कलर की चीजें खाते हैं आप सोचिए, डिफरेंट कलर ऑफ वेजिटेबल, डिफरेंट थिंग्स, बट रेड कलर, ब्लड का कलर जो होता है वो रेड ही होता है. इजंट दैट ए मिरेकल, राइट? और अगर आप देखिए, सॉइल का एक ही कलर है मिट्टी का, बट उसमें अलग अलग कलर के फ्लावर आते हैं, अलग अलग कलर का फ्रेग्रेंस आता है. कैसे? हाउ कम दिस इज? हमें लगेगा अरे ऑटोमेटिक, बट ऑटोमेटिकली, एज आई सेड, automated does not mean there is somebody who is not created the system or maintained that system. Okay, so we cannot create this, even all these things जो हमने डिस्कस किया है, ये कुछ भी हम लैब में, as I said, as simple as H2O, we cannot create it in our lab. Okay, so through various simple observation we can look around us and we can logically and scientifically understand that yes, there is some power, there is somebody who is exist and who is maintaining, who's created this order, right? लॉ ऑर्डर, जैसे अभी कंट्री में अगर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मेंटेन करना है, देयर इज ए कंप्लीट मिनिस्ट्री, देन देयर इज ए पुलिस फोर्स, देयर इज ए मिलिट्री, देयर इज ए पैरामिलिट्री. कितने लोग लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मेंटेन करते हैं, राइट? सो इन यूनिवर्स में इज देयर समबडी हु इज मेंटेनिंग दैट लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, right? So we'll do that exercise in a while. Okay, all right. So with this, let's go. So we are now getting into the session where we understand through our observations, and even we will to look at the scientist viewpoint also. What do famous scientists talk about this universe or the creation which I am talking about? Okay, so who creates and maintains this beautiful harmonious universe? Let's go into that. So any art, if you see, the first thing comes to your mind is, Are, who is the artist, right? Any organization you see, there's an organizer behind that. Any creation, anything you look around, कोई भी ऐसा चीज नहीं है जो ऑटोमेटिक आया है. Everything has a creator. Look at the room around you. Can you see anything which has come automatically in your room? Like I can see Pratik के पीछे एक you can see a photo frame. अगर मैं प्रतीक को बोलूं ये ऑटोमेटिक आ गया, is that true? Somebody has clicked that photo, somebody has framed that photo, and somebody has put that photo. It does not come automatically. There's nothing which comes automatic, right? So that means if somebody has, there is some person who has done that, right? That's what we are calling it as God. We don't know who he is, why he is doing it, or why, what is the purpose. Will come at the end of the session. We'll understand all these questions. We'll try to understand, get the answers of all these questions. But at least now with this observation we can see that yes, there is somebody who is managing this whole affair. Okay, how can I know more about it? We'll go over the session and we'll understand. Any design you see, there is a designer behind it, right? And as someone has written, for every power there is a power source. हर शक्ति के पीछे कौन होता है? शक्तिमान, right? So behind every energy there is a energetic person behind it. And law means there has to be a law maker. So through this logically and logic understanding, we can understand that yes, behind this creation there is somebody who is a creator and who is managing this whole affair. Okay, all right. So we can see this art. We'll look at each of the examples now. Art implies artist. See, for every painting we can see who is the artist. Leonardo da Vinci, very famous artist, right? What about this art? इसके पीछे कोई आर्टिस्ट नहीं होना चाहिए. Who has created this beautiful waterfalls, created this beautiful scenery? अगर आपसे पूछें कि अभी आप हॉलीडे में कहाँ जाना चाहेंगे, most of the people say you want to go to Goa. वो सीनरी किसने क्रिएट किया? Who created this beautiful place, right? So who is the artist behind that? अगर आप देखें एक आर्टिफिशियल रोज बनाने के लिए, right, how many things we need? So many things we need. कोई तो है जो उसको डिजाइन करेगा. So there is a scissor, there is a favicol, there is a paper, everything you need, and somebody needs to think of a design, right? A simple paper rose. You need so many. There's an industry which will work on the gum. There's an industry for scissor. There's an industry for paper, and there's a person who will be designing it. So just to make one paper rose, so many people are involved, right? And if I ask you, Valentine's Day is coming, okay? So if Valentine's Day somebody wants to give the gift, and if you have an option, which rose which you will give, the paper rose or the original rose? Which rose would people prefer to give? Original. Okay. So if I ask you why you want to still prefer the original rose, now the answer which you might get is, okay, it has a fragrance which the paper rose does not have, right? As many of you have written. So if this paper rose, think about it. If this paper rose does not come by chance, what makes you think that original rose has come by chance? See, every day we see that rose coming up, blossoming, so many flowers. पर हमें क्या लगता है? Automatically आ गया. So our thinking and our understanding is like that little child. You got it? जिस चाइल्ड को लगता है कि अरे मैंने पैर रखा, अरे गेट खुल गया, मेरी वजह से हो रहा है, आई एम पुटिंग दैट वाटर ना, इसीलिए वो आ रहा है, right? But no, there is a automated mechanism. Does not mean there is nobody behind that. Beautiful rose flower you can see every day blossoming, so many different fragrances, so many different colors. Who put that color in that rose? So many beautiful design, किसने design किया उसको, right? That is the question I should be asking. Who is the person behind that original rose? If this paper rose somebody has designed it, who has designed the original rose, right? So artistry means there has to be artist behind it. Look at this video. So you can see what a beautiful organization. Who has put that intelligence now in those honeybee? Right? That's a question I should be asking myself. Right? And we can see the beautiful organized the spider web. अभी आप देखेंगे अगर हमारा बुलेट प्रूफ का जो डिजाइन है, बुलेट प्रूफ जैकेट्स जो होती हैं, that all design has been taken from the spider, right? But किस कैसे they, you can see they are like mathematician the way they have created this web, right?
Amit sir, sorry to interrupt.
You
Do
are
we
not
have
able to.
audio?
Yeah,
Do we have the audio?
sure. I'll have to
Yeah,
share
yeah,
it again. Maybe I was about to ask that. Okay.
yeah.
After this video, I'll do that.
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'll share it again so that uh, you're able to hear the audio as well. I didn't click that option last time. Okay, hopefully you'll be able to hear the voice now. Okay, so we saw this beautiful example of mathematician spider. Okay, now we'll look at some of the organization. Organization implies the organizer. So we see so many wonderful things created by men, right? But somebody has manufactured it, right? This trendy computer, somebody assembled it. Elegant watch, somebody designed it. So don't you think this universe, so cosmos, if you go back to the definition of cosmos, harmonious, systematic, orderly universe, should not there be a super intelligent creator for this whole universe? Do we agree? Right? So as I said, we are scientifically and logically through our observations around us, we are trying to understand that yes, there is some power and there's somebody who's governing this. It is not automatically that things are working, right? Who is given this intelligence to the bees? Who has given this intelligence to the uh, even to the spiders? Like artificial intelligence, which when we say artificial intelligence itself means that is artificial, but even for the artificial intelligence, you will be the people tomorrow when you will be working on it, you are putting your intelligence to create the artificial intelligence, right? So if artificial intelligence needs a intelligent person behind that, what about the actual intelligence? What about the real intelligence? Should not be there someone who has given that intelligence to? Okay. All right. Let's look at few more examples. Okay. So creation implies creator. Let's look at some more example. So this is the seed of a sequoia tree, right? Let's see what is a speciality. This is the size. Can you imagine? Just a tiny seed. अभी हम बोलते हैं ना नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी. So it's actually God has created this nanotechnology. छोटे से seed में आप देखिए, this is such a giant tree which resides in that small seed. Can imagine the size. This is the size of the tree. If you look at from the comparison perspective. So this is chip, right? We all know Intel is manufacturing this chip. What about this human brain? If you look at the capacity, it can store more information than all the libraries in the world. Can you imagine? Who has designed this brain then? If Intel has designed that chip, who has designed the brain? So we can understand if somebody asks you now which is the biggest supercomputer, we can very easily say that the brain is the one, right? Okay. अभी हम देखते हैं micro word and the macro word. You have all seen this DNA, right? If you look at the example of graphite, graphite is also carbon, है ना? आप देखते हैं it's very soft. And the diamond is also carbon. Diamond आप देखिए सबसे hardest material है, वो graphite जो है, that's very soft, right? Slight molecular change, थोड़ा सा molecule carbon ही है दोनों में, थोड़ा सा molecule change हुआ and we can see the difference, right? So ये design, how we, some of you gave the example of satellite also, right? Just to put one satellite 24 राउंड 24 आवर्स राउंड द क्लॉक हम क्या क्या चीजें, बहुत सारे क्रिटिकल पैरामीटर्स है जो हमें मॉनिटर करने पड़ते हैं. ओरिएंटेशन, स्पिन, वेलोसिटी, राइट, कॉस्मिक रेडिएशन, हीट डिसिपेशन. एंड वर्ल्ड के बेस्ट साइंटिस्ट, बट दे आर द वन हु आर वर्किंग ऑन इट, राइट? एंड साइंटिस्ट कौन बनते हैं? दैट टू, दैट्स द बेस्ट इन दैट क्लास, दे बिकम द साइंटिस्ट, राइट? So you can understand how much intelligence is required just to put one satellite in that orbit. अभी आप सोचिए जो अर्थ है, what is the speed of the earth? Does anybody know by which speed we are rotating? Anybody? Any idea? This is the size. आप सोचिए हमारा जो सैटेलाइट लॉन्च व्हीकल होता है, उसका सबसे क्रिटिकल पैरामीटर होता है वो कितना पेलोड, वो रॉकेट जो है कितना पेलोड लेके जा सकता है. अभी आप सोचिए ये प्लैनेट किसने ऑर्बिट में डाला? 6 × 10⁻21 मेट्रिक टन. कैन इमेजिन? और अर्थ का जो रोटेशन है और उसका जो टिल्ट है, जो उसका टिल्ट है उसकी वजह से हमारे पास डे एंड नाइट आता है. एंड देयर आर वेरियस सीजन्स आल्सो व्हिच कम्स, राइट? सो अगर वो पर्टिकुलर एंगल पे टिल्ट नहीं होगा और उसका सन से जो डिस्टेंस है थोड़ा बहुत भी आगे पीछे होगा तो वी कैन नॉट सर्वाइव. किसने वो डिस्टेंस पर्टिकुलर मेजर करके उसी डिस्टेंस पे रखा है सन के? सोचिए आप. How come it is automatically working at a perfect distance from the sun and at a particular, it's tilted also so that we get seasons, right? So who is maintaining that? And this is the speed of earth around the sun. अभी आप सोचिए ट्रेन में many of you might have traveled in the train. अगर आप ट्रेन में जर्नी करते हैं, राइट, तो क्या होता है कि अगर आपने 2 दिन सपोज लंबा जर्नी किया दिल्ली से बैंगलोर का 2 नाइट जर्नी, तो तीसरे दिन ऐसे हिलते हुए नजर आएंगे आप सब, है ना? आपको बैठे बैठे भी ऐसा लगेगा कि जैसे आप हिल रहे हैं, है ना? यू विल नॉट बी दैट कंफर्टेबल। ट्रेन में भी यू विल फील दैट जर्क्स मिलेंगे आपको, आप हिलेंगे उसमें भी, है ना? तो आप सोचिए ट्रेन का स्पीड कितना होता है, मैक्सिमम 80 100, दैट्स व्हाट इट विल गो। लुक एट द स्पीड ऑफ अर्थ एंड सी द डिजाइन. You are currently moving at this speed. We all are moving at this speed, 106,000 kilometer per hour. Are we feeling that? That's the beauty of the design of the creator. So who is in control? Is NASA controlling these planets? Do we agree now? At least somebody who is there, who is controlling this. अभी प्लूटो आप देखेंगे, प्लूटो कभी उसको 8th planet बोलते हैं, कभी 9th planet बोलते हैं. There are so many arguments which are there. क्यों कभी प्लूटो 8th जो है सैटेलाइट ये प्लैनेट है उसकी ऑर्बिट में आ जाता है, कभी 9th की, तो कभी वो यूरेनस नेपच्यून इनके बीच के उसमें भी ट्रेवल करता है वो, राइट? बट आपने कभी सुना है ऐसा कि कोलिजन पाथ पे आ गए 2 प्लैनेट? नो, हर कोई अपनी ऑर्बिट में रोटेट कर रहा है परफेक्टली. किसने ये डिजाइन किया? अब आप सोचिए आपके क्रॉसिंग, घर के बाहर अगर क्रॉसिंग होगा, उस क्रॉसिंग में भी देयर आर लाइट्स व्हिच आर बीइंग पुट, ठीक है? तो एक साइड का लाइट जब ऑन होता है तो एक तरह का ट्रैफिक चलता है, राइट? एंड देयर आर सम टाइम पुलिसमैन आल्सो स्टैंडिंग देयर who's controlling the traffic. What about these planets? How come they are rotating perfectly without any collision? कौन मेंटेन कर रहा है उनको, right? So I gave you that example, right? So this marvelous design we can see. It's a famous Fibonacci series. We can see its implementation everywhere, right? गैलेक्सी का अगर आप डिजाइन देखेंगे, फ्लावर्स के पेटल का डिजाइन देखेंगे, इवन हैंड की जो आपकी बोन्स है उसका डिजाइन देखेंगे, एवरीथिंग इज इन परफेक्ट इन द फिबोनाची सीरीज, राइट? तो किसने डिजाइन किया? दैट मींस देयर इज सम इंटेलिजेंट डिजाइन which has been put behind everything.
Around 1200 AD, a man named Leonard Pisano, better known as Fibonacci, discovered a sequence of numbers that created a very interesting pattern. The sequence begins with the numbers 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and continues indefinitely. Each number is obtained by adding the last 2 digits together. A rectangle with a length and width of any 2 of the numbers of this sequence forms what is known as the golden rectangle, a perfect rectangle. A golden rectangle can be broken down into squares the size of the next Fibonacci numbers down and below. If we were to take a perfect or golden rectangle, break it down into smaller squares based on Fibonacci's sequence, and divide each with an arc, the patterns begin to take shape. We begin to see Fibonacci's spiral. The spiral in and of itself is insignificant. Its importance is revealed in where we find it. Take, for example, the sunflower. The display of its florets are in perfect spirals of 55, 34, and 21, the sequence of Fibonacci. The fruitlets of the pineapple create the same spiral based on the sequence. The pine cone does the same. As currents move through the ocean and the tide rolls onto the shore, the waves that bring in the tide curve into a spiral that can be mathematically diagrammed onto a plot at the points 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and 55. Buds on trees, sand dollars, starfish, petals on flowers, and especially the nautilus shell are formed with this exact same blueprint. With each segment of growth, the nautilus adds to itself 1 more value on Fibonacci's scale. This blueprint can be seen around us on a small scale every day, but the greatest example of all is directly above our heads. At an average of 100,000 light years across, even the spiral of the galaxies above us are formed with the exact design that the tiny shell is formed. This sequence or blueprint appears to be the trademark of a designer, a proof of a creator, something left behind indicating the one who was there, a fingerprint. As we scan our universe, from the tiny flower to the awe-inspiring galaxy, we see the fingerprint of God.
As you know,
Okay, all right. So design implies there must be a designer. Let's look at what the energy of sun, how much energy do we get? There's some amazing facts about the sun. We cannot even see energy emitted by sun per second is greater than the amount of energy which is consumed by human throughout the entire history. That's the kind of energy which sun is giving us. Now this example, if a stone comes from your window and hits the TV screen, right? So can we say कि अरे एनर्जी की वजह से टूट गया? एक्चुअली में टीवी आपका जो है वो एनर्जी की वजह से ही टूटा है, राइट? स्टोन ने हिट किया तभी वो टीवी का स्क्रीन ब्रेक हुआ. बट द क्वेश्चन यू विल बी आस्किंग इज हु हैज सप्लाइड दैट एनर्जी? हु इज द पर्सन हु हैज थ्रोन दैट स्टोन, राइट? विल वी नॉट बी आस्किंग दैट क्वेश्चन? So many times when we say ki, yes, there is some power which is controlling somebody who's giving that energy, should we not be asking that question that who is giving that energy or who is providing that power? So if the sun is giving us the power, who is providing power to the sun actually? Who is the person behind it? Who is the perfect designer behind it? Or who is the creator behind it? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. So energy means there has to be energetic. Like stone, किसी ने तो throw किया stone तभी तो वो stone hit हुआ ना. So you're always asking that question, but when it comes to energy, हमें लगता है energy is there. Many times people believe in energy, but they don't understand that yes, there's somebody who is supplying that energy also. अभी हमारे घर में energy आ रहा है, तो these lights are all glowing, but there is a person who is working in Maharashtra State Electricity Board who is controlling that and is providing that energy to everyone, right? So that means there is a person who is working. That means if energy is there, there has to be energetic. That is what we are calling it as a God. Okay. So let's look at few more examples. Any school, any college you study, it has a law. It has a principle, creates those laws, right? Even driving ke liye bhi there are laws, right? India mein there are different rules, America mein different rules, but there are some rules and there's somebody who has created, even for the cricket, right? It has laws. International Cricket Council is the one who governs that, right? Periodic table agar aap dekhenge, so you can see how perfectly and the way it is organized, who has created these laws then, right? It is not by chance, right? We say periodic table, right? It's not by chance. It's not periodic chance. It's periodic law. Kafi baar aisa. So there are two theories. As I said, when you look at the universe, sometimes people say it has come by chance. There's nothing which comes by chance. Everything is in perfect order. We can see. That's why we call it as a periodic law, not the periodic chance. So I'll quickly move. So there are laws we can see everywhere. Thermodynamics, law of thermodynamics, law of optics, law of energy. Everywhere there are laws. Who has created? If simple traffic rules, there's somebody who has created. What about these laws? So Newton, when he discovers the law of gravity, did he created that law? No, he just only discovered that. That means that law was existing even before the apple fell on Newton's head. उससे पहले भी वो लॉ था. न्यूटन ने उसको सिर्फ डिस्कवर किया. बट द क्वेश्चन इज वो लॉ क्रिएट किसने किया, राइट? Who has created that law? Who has created these laws which govern the universe, right? Okay, I'll quickly move through this, give you enough examples. So law means there has to be some law maker. Okay, let's look at couple more examples. There are some people who are beautiful, right? By the standards the society is going through, some may be ugly, some may be handsome, some may not be that handsome, right? Some may be poverty stricken, and somebody is getting a wonderful education. Somebody may be labor class. Who is deciding? Is everything working by chance? Let's try to understand. Is it by chance? So there are certain things which we choose for ourselves. Can you quickly tell what are the things we choose for ourselves? Yes, you can put it in a chat window. There are few things we choose for ourselves. What are those? Very simple, right? Put it in a chat window. What do we choose for ourselves? Which engineering stream I want to do, I can choose for myself. Which college I want to go to, I can choose, right? Which career I want to take, very good. We can choose for ourselves. What else? Okay, let's look at some examples. What are the things we choose for ourselves? Right? Profession, yes, very good. Education, we can choose. Okay. Then job also we can choose. We have a choice. Spouse also we can choose. Cars also we can choose based on our budget. There are certain things which we don't choose for ourselves. Can you give me such examples? Karma. Okay, karma also we are doing, right? We have that free will. Very good. Ayush. Perfect. Parents, we don't choose our parents, right? Which planet we should be residing in? Yes, very good. Which gender we are? Yes, we are not choosing that. What should be the color of my skin? I'm not choosing that. Very good. Excellent. Thank you so much. When are we going to be born? When are we going to die? We don't know that. See, everything comes with the expiry, right? So our expiry is our death, right? If we are born, then we die. But we are not choosing that. Who is making that choice? Our parents, face shapes, our intelligence. Who is choosing and on what basis? Can we say is it by chance? Is there anything you look around as by chance? I give you the example. There's nothing which has come by chance. Like which there are when the kid is small, जब छोटा बच्चा रहता है तो क्या होता है कि अगर बच्चे को स्कूल जाना है तो कौन चूज करता है उसका स्कूल बच्चे का? पेरेंट चूज करते हैं. जब आप बड़े हो जाते हैं then you choose your engineering college, which engineering college you want to go in. So there are certain things which we are choosing. There are certain things which my parents are choosing on my behalf, right? जैसे जब हम छोटे थे तो हमारे पेरेंट्स सेलेक्ट करते थे कौन सा शर्ट चाहिए, कौन सा ट्राउजर चाहिए. When we were very like kid. Similarly, when we are not choosing, that does not mean somebody else is not choosing on my behalf. Did you get it? When we were not making those choices, my parents were making those choices. Similarly, these are the choices which I have not chosen. That means there is somebody who has made that decision on my behalf, right? There is some power which is working, which has taken those decisions. On what basis? Like somebody wrote karma. Based on the law of karma, those decisions are made. Okay. So we can see we looked at many examples, right? Can this be a random event? Do you think it's anything you look around? There's nothing which has come by chance. So what makes you think that your whatever where you are born, which city you will be born, or what color of skin, is that also by chance? No, that's according to our scriptures. There is nothing which comes by chance. Okay, everything is working under the perfect control of the God. Okay, all right. So based on, like somebody was writing about the soul. So based on, so it's a journey of a soul. We keep on getting the bodies. So under the supervision of the Lord, depending upon my previous work, previous karmas, I am awarded a different body, different place. All right. So that's how these decisions are made based on the law of karma. It's a perfect law. Like gravity, if I don't know, अगर कोई बोले कि मुझे gravity नहीं पता है, And if I jump, will I not fall? If I jump from my window, still I will fall. I may say कि अरे law of gravity मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था, physics में मैंने पढ़ा ही नहीं, ना ही मुझे formula पता है, g m1 m2 r square. So if I jump, that does not mean I'll keep flying. I'll still go down. So you know the law or you do not know the law. Law is going to act on it. That's what I wanted to convey. So similarly, we may agree, we may not agree, we may believe, we may not believe. Law is impeccable. Law will work on you. Okay. So, all right, let's go further. So behind every law, there is a law maker. Perfect. So we'll look at some of the scientific observation. I'll go through it quickly. What do famous scientists talk about it? So what is Einstein saying? The Lord God is subtle but malicious. He is not. That's what Einstein is mentioning. Okay. So this is, you might have read about Schrodinger equations, you might have worked on it, right? This is what he says about God. So these are the scientists who used to believe in God, and saying Kelvin, right? Very famous scientist. If you think strongly enough, you will be forced by science to believe in God. Then we have a Newton. So Newton, I'll share a small story. So Newton once he was like very popular. तो एक बार उनके friend ने उनको बोला कि your intelligence is like changing the world. So न्यूटन ने क्या बोला? My intelligence is like a tiny speck, like a जो sand का dust होता है ना, उतना है मेरा intelligence. तो उनके फ्रेंड को समझ में आ गया. उनके फ्रेंड को लगा अभी ये गॉड के ऊपर चले जाएंगे, गॉड की बात करेंगे, गॉड ने दिया है ये सब. तो ही डिडंट वांट टू डिस्कस दैट. सो ही सेड आई डोंट वांट टू गेट इनटू दैट, डिस्कस नहीं करना मुझे. तो उनके न्यूटन ने क्या बोला? आप मेरे घर आइए सुबह ब्रेकफास्ट के लिए. तो जब न्यूटन के फ्रेंड ब्रेकफास्ट के लिए आए तो उन्होंने देखा ये जो मॉडल आप देख रहे हैं, न्यूटन ने क्या किया था, डाइनिंग टेबल के ऊपर ये मॉडल रखा हुआ था. तो उन्होंने जैसे ही एक को रोटेट किया, एक प्लैनेट को, सारे प्लैनेट्स परफेक्टली रोटेट होने लग गए. एंड ही वाज अमेज्ड बाय दैट मॉडल. और उनको बहुत अच्छा लगा मॉडल. तो जब न्यूटन आए तो उन्होंने पूछा न्यूटन से, अरे दिस सच ए ब्यूटीफुल मॉडल, ये किसने बनाया है, यहाँ पे कैसे आया, हु हैज क्रिएटेड दिस मॉडल? तो न्यूटन ने इनको बोला कि बाय चांस आ गया, आई डोंट नो, कल तक नहीं था, आज आप आए हैं तो शायद पता नहीं कहाँ से आया, आई डोंट नो. सो ही सेड आई डोंट बिलीव यू एट ऑल. ये आपके घर में है, आपकी डाइनिंग टेबल पे मॉडल पड़ा है, परफेक्ट मॉडल वर्क कर रहा है, और आप बोल रहे हैं आपको पता ही नहीं है, बाई चांस आ गया, कैसे मान लूं मैं? तब न्यूटन ने उनको बोला, अगर ये रेप्लिकेशन है, ये चीप इमिटेशन है, ये जब बाई चांस नहीं आ सकता, आप एग्री नहीं कर रहे कि ये बाई चांस आ गया, व्हाट मेक्स यू थिंक कि ये जो ओरिजिनल यूनिवर्स जो हमें दिखता है वो बाई चांस आ गया? जब ये चीप इमिटेशन बाई चांस नहीं आ सकता तो ओरिजिनल कैसे आएगा? Then that person understood, yes, there is some power who is behind this universe. Okay, so I'll quickly skip. You can go through this in your free time. We have so many scientists who have given their understanding about the power which is governing this universe. Okay, all right. So these are the famous scientists you can see. Let's go to the $2 million question. Okay, let's play कौन बनेगा करोड़पति. देखते हैं किसको कितना समझ में आया है, अभी पता चलेगा. ओके okay, what is the origin of universe? Who can give that answer? A is Big Bang, B is Big Band, C is intelligent design, D is by chance. Okay, okay, so we can see many people who are putting A and many people who are putting C also. Very good, excellent. So as you all know, C is the correct answer. Okay, we'll talk about Big Bang also. So this is what we have read in our school books, right? So Big Bang, if we talk about, again, it is a theory. There are multiple theories which have come up with on the creation of the universe. So Big Bang is also one of the theory. If I ask you a logical question, आपने कभी ऐसा देखा कि ऐसा एक्सप्लोजन हुआ, कभी भी कुछ भी, जैसे अगर कहीं पे बॉम्ब एक्सप्लोड होता है, व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन डू यू आस्क? कैन समबडी टेल? पहला क्वेश्चन क्या आएगा आपके माइंड में? अगर कहीं पे बॉम्ब एक्सप्लोड होता है, आपने न्यूज सुना, व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन विच, हाउ मेनी डाइड, हु डिड इट, और कितना डिस्क्रशन, कितना आपका उसके वजह से कितना डिस्ट्रक्शन हुआ. कभी ऐसा सुना आपने कि एक्सप्लोजन हुआ और पुणे मेट्रो आ गया सडनली, जो 10 साल से बन रहा है? या कभी ऐसा हुआ कि एक्सप्लोजन हुआ तो एक 5 स्टार होटल अपीयर हो गया, उसमें से एक नया बिल्डिंग आ गया? ऐसा कभी नहीं होता कि एक्सप्लोजन हो, डिस्ट्रक्शन ही होता है. एंड यू, एज यू सेड, सो अभी बिग बैंग जब हमें पढ़ाया गया, हमने क्वेश्चन पूछा ही नहीं कभी कि एक ये जो एक्सप्लोजन हुआ उससे क्रिएशन कैसे हो गया. Did we ask that question? How come one explosion caused the creation actually? We never asked that question actually, right? Okay, let's take that. Worst case, let's take that कि ठीक है, explosion की वजह से creation हुआ, Big Bang theory. As I said, that's a theory. There's no proof for that. अगर मान भी लिया जाए बिग बैंग से, ठीक है, एक्सप्लोजन हुआ, अभी जैसे आपने लिखा कभी भी एक्सप्लोजन होता है, वेरी फर्स्ट थिंग वी लुक एट, अरे एक्सप्लोजन किसने किया? अगर वो एक्सप्लोजन भी हुआ, then also the question comes, who created that explosion actually? Okay, let's go to the second question. I'll quickly wrap up, maybe another 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so please bear with me. Okay, so what is the purpose? Now the question, as I said, there are two questions. Logical question, we look at anything we ask. First is, who is the manufacturer and what is the purpose? Now, if whatever we have discussed, what is the purpose now? Eat, sleep and be merry. B. What is your answer for this? Okay, right. Absolutely. Fantastic. Everybody, every one of you is writing to understand God, right? Is it not my responsibility to understand the law? How does the law works? If I am getting into the college, if I am getting into a job, I need to know the law. I need to know who is the CEO. What does he wants from me? Similarly, when we are in this universe, I need to understand what are the laws which govern me and what is the creator expecting me from. There's nothing without purpose. That means I have also not come without purpose. So what is my purpose, right? That is to understand the God and to understand what this life is. That's why we have been given this intelligence. Okay. All right. So let's go further. So we talked about, there's no machine you will look at which has come by chance or it has no purpose, right? Big brain. We talked about the Big Bang theory also. I gave you the example. Okay. So can you imagine? This is the Big Bang theory. Point of infinite temperature, infinite density, infinite decimal size. That is the physically indescribable, mathematically unverifiable, beyond all conception of space and time. This is what is this science? Is this scientific? Can you say? That's why we are saying it is a theory. It has not been proven by the science, because you can see infinitesimal, unverifiable, and I gave you common sense also. There's nothing which comes by the explosion. Okay. All right. Let's do one small activity and then we will end. So it's a very wonderful activity. I want all of you to participate. Okay. So if now we understand, okay, there must be some power. There's somebody who's governing. That means like we have a government. Is there any universal government also which works on us? Okay. Let's try to understand that. Okay. So our home ministry, we have law and order, punishment. Is there anything in the universal government? Can somebody give any examples? You can put it in the chat window. We have already discussed that. So like we have law and order, if somebody does wrong thing, he gets punishment, right? So what about the home ministry, law and order ministry? So we have in universal government, if you look at it, we have, if somebody does wrong thing, somebody smoking, he gets a cancer. So law of karma is also there. Drinking, liver gets damaged. Health ministry is there. So in the nature also we can see we have Ayurvedic herbs. Ministry of Energy, we have sun and moon. Okay. Then we have finance ministry. आप देखेंगे पूरी country किस पे run करता है, कितना money आप print कर सकते हैं, depends upon the gold. And who is providing that gold? Gold, silver, diamond. It's all coming from the God. Defense ministry. We have protection from dangers. In universal government, do we have something? Yes, we have ozone layer which protects us. And there's a immunity in the body also, right? Then we have education ministry. And we have Vedas, Bible, Quran, Bhagavad Gita, right? So many books God has given us. So what are the lessons we can derive? Behind every government, there is a prime minister. And behind this universal government, we have a God. So the like prime minister maintains and controls the country, God maintains and controls the whole universe. Government law abiders live happily and law breakers are punished. Similarly, if somebody breaks God's laws, he has to suffer. So it's my responsibility to understand what are the laws and we have to abide by it. Okay, that takes me to the Bhagavad Gita verse. It says, Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre madigana eva. Now you may ask a question, if God is there, why I am not able to see him? So Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, he gives this beautiful verse. He says, like आप माला अगर देखेंगे, मोती की माला, like this is there. अगर आप इस माला को देखेंगे, मोती साथ में है, that means अभी thread you are not able to see. But will you all agree that thread is there? You will say yes, thread is there because ये मोती सब आसपास जुड़े हुए हैं. They have not fallen. तो मोती साथ में जुड़े हुए हैं, that itself shows that thread is there. So Krishna says, the God says in Bhagavad Gita that I am that thread which is binding all the universe together. Okay. Gama Vishya cha Bhutani Dharayami Amojasa. Krishna says, I provide that energy, and by my energy, these planets float in this world. Okay. All right. So quickly, we have done this activity. Come to the last part. What is our prime duty after understanding all this? Then we need to understand that this intelligence is given to us, right? To understand what is this creation about, to understand the source and what's the God is expecting me from. Okay, to unfold the mysteries of God and create God's creation through science and to glorify the Lord, to understand and explain the purpose of Lord's creation, which is to love God and love all. Okay, to utilize everything for the pleasure of God and welfare of all. Okay. All right. So we discussed few observations through which scientifically we can understand that yes, there's some energy, there's some God which exists who is maintaining. Then we looked at the scientist observation. We looked at the $2 million questions, and then we did small activity of national government versus universal government and what's our prime duty. Okay. All right. So with this, I'll end the session. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yes.
So,
So for next 5-10
yeah.
minutes, maybe I'll try to answer if you have any questions based on what we discussed or anything which comes to mind after hearing this session. Yeah. Again, I appreciate all of your patience. Sorry, I've taken 10 minutes extra.
No, sir. No needed. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session and this making our evening very wonderful. Before getting into Q&A session, students, I want you to share something. Okay, let me share this.
I got one question on the
So,
chat. Very, very interesting
yeah.
question. He said, if we are being created by God, then who created the God? Okay, so I'll take that first question. So the very first question, why we need to understand why this question comes in our mind, because we are all working under the constraint of the space and time. So we think everything is created at a particular time. तो अगर हम भी created हैं, we are being created by God, that there must be some time when God is also created, but we need to understand God is beyond space and time. Okay, and even for we also, when we go deeper into our understanding, we understand we are the soul. So we as a soul, we are also beyond space and time, but currently since we are in this body, so this body is constrained by the space and time. So there was a time when we were kid, our body is changing, but the soul remains eternal. So soul is eternal, God is also eternal. I'll give you a very simple example to understand that. Now, who is pulling the bogie? Train की जो bogie होती है उसको कौन pull करता है? You may say because it is connected to other bogie, the bogie ahead of it is pulling. अभी आप पूछेंगे फिर उस बोगी को कौन पुल करता है? सो देन सारी बोगीज को एक इंजन पुल करता है. गॉट इट? All of you will agree. Now, if I ask you who is pulling that engine, then your answer is engine is pulling itself also. So engine is pulling itself also and the bogies also. So similarly, that's how we can understand the God. Okay. So we and God eternally exist, and He's the one who is creating and maintaining everything. All the bogies, we are all the bogies, and God is like that engine. Okay. So who is providing energy to the engine? Engine is providing. Similarly, who's providing the energy to the God? God itself is providing energy to himself also and to all of us also. Okay.
Yes, sir. Wonderful. Okay, so shall we take Q&A first, sir, then? Is it okay for you?
Yeah, please.
Like there are many questions. Okay. Like I have seen Raj has been very curious and he had asked very good questions. Raj, Vaibhav, Pratik were very much curious. And I can see Raj has asked what is connected to karma, deeds or only thoughts? In which situation the karma will act?
Okay. So karma works on you all the time. As I said, is gravity working on you now also? I'm able to sit on this chair because of the gravity actually. Right? Because gravity is pulling. Otherwise, I would be floating. अगर मैं मून पे होता तो अभी तक शायद फ्लोट कर रहा होता. Depends upon the weight though. Okay. So similarly, this law of gravity is working on me all the time. So law of karma also works on me every time. And what is law of karma? Very simple words. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So Einstein का जो third law था, that is a spiritual law actually, कि हर action का आपको reaction मिलेगा. जैसा बोओगे वैसा काटोगे. Okay. So as you sow, so shall you reap. That is the law of karma. So based on like sometimes people say, अरे भगवान ने ऐसा मेरे साथ क्यों किया? Why did God do this to me? No, God is not doing anything to you. Everyone is given that free will, and based on your karma, you are creating your destiny. तो जो आपने पहले कर्म किए उसका आपको फल अभी मिल रहा है, और जो आप अभी कर्म करेंगे उसका फल आपको आगे मिलेगा. किसी कर्म का फल आपको जल्दी मिल जाता है. Like if you eat anything which is not right, next day morning you will feel that immediate reaction मिलता है. If you punch somebody, immediate reaction मिलेगा. But कुछ कर्म ऐसा होते हैं जिनका थोड़े टाइम बाद आपको फल मिलता है. If somebody is smoking now, he may be thinking he is a hero, but थोड़े टाइम में आपको उसका रिएक्शन मिलने वाला है. अभी आपको कुछ नहीं होगा. अब वो बोल somebody में से, अरे मैं स्मोक कर रहा हूँ, अरे कहाँ कैंसर हुआ? जस्ट वेट, होगा होगा, जल्दी होगा आपको. राइट. सो थोड़े टाइम बाद फल मिलेगा. एंड देयर आर सर्टेन थिंग्स जिसका बहुत टाइम के बाद, मे बी इन द नेक्स्ट लाइफ somebody gets a reaction. So that's how law of karma works. Depending upon your actions, you will get the reaction sometime sooner, sometime later, sometime in this life, sometime in the next life. Okay.
Indeed, indeed. We have Abhishek Bagade, and he's asking ki, now we are just discussing about God and all, and we are just believing God exists. So what about demons, Satan? What do you think? Like, do they exist?
Yes. Okay. So God, see both. I'll give you example. Like, see in our heart, कभी कभी आप देखेंगे थॉट्स, कभी कभी आपके अंदर कैसे थॉट्स आते हैं. कभी आपके अंदर बहुत सारे पॉजिटिव थॉट आते हैं, यू वांट टू हेल्प समवन. कभी कभी आपके अंदर नेगेटिव थॉट्स भी आते हैं. ठीक है. गलत करने के भी थॉट्स आते हैं. एवरीवन विल एग्री कि हमें पॉजिटिव थॉट्स भी आते हैं, नेगेटिव थॉट भी आते हैं. इफ आई वर्क ऑन पॉजिटिव थॉट्स, then I'll become a better person, I'll become a good human being. But if I work on the negative thought, there are some people, you feel that negative energy, and there's some people who do that wrong deeds also, we can see that. So if somebody is working on those negative thought, he's acting on negative thought, that's a demon. Demon is not something like जिसके ऐसे सींग निकले होंगे और जिसके ऐसे दांत बाहर निकले होंगे. No, that's a wrong understanding. Demon is the one who is working on the negative things, and the good person is one, or the devata is the one who is helping everyone. इसलिए हम बोलते हैं ना, कोई बंदा अच्छा करता है, अरे आप तो देवता है हमारे लिए. क्यों? Because he is focusing on the positive aspect, he want to help everyone. Right. That is what, that's a difference between a demon and a demigod. Okay. So the person who works on the, जैसे एक और example दूंगा मैं. So we all have Ravana inside our heart, and we also have Hanuman also inside our heart. क्या चीज डिफरेंशिएट करेगी उसे? depending upon what do I choose to work on. जैसे if अगर हमारे see so many anarthas we have lust, greed, anger, pride, right? Primarily these three, lust, anger and greed. अभी हमें कुछ चीज नहीं मिलती है तो हमें एंगर आता है. कुछ चीज नहीं मिलना is the lust. I want something. That's a lust, right? तो फिर हम गलत चीज भी करते हैं उसको पूरा करने के लिए. So that lust is there. So if you work on lust, what did Ravana do? He wanted to have Sita. He wanted to have uh, see it was Ram's wife, right? And he had such a beautiful wife. Ravan की जो wife थी मंदोदरी, such a beautiful lady she was. और उन्होंने बोला भी मत करो ऐसा, don't go after the lust. So many beautiful queens he had, but no, he wanted to have Sita. So that lust is there like Ravana inside us also. But depending upon what you act on will decide whether you become Ravana or whether you will become Hanuman. And what was Hanuman's consciousness? Hanuman ji ki chetna kaisi thi? He always want to serve the Lord. He always want to serve the Lord Ram. He always want to have Sita with Ram. He wanted to bring Sita to Ram, and Ravana, he wanted to take away Sita from Lord Ram. So that is the difference. So depending upon मेरी चेतना कैसा है, that will define whether I am a demon or I am a good human being. Okay, but these both energies are in us. So like my spiritual master, he says very beautiful statement. He says there is a good dog also barking inside our heart, and there is a bad dog also barking. Which dog will win? It will be decided by the dog you feed. अगर आप पॉजिटिव थॉट्स को फीड करेंगे पॉजिटिविटी विल कम आउट. इफ अगर आप नेगेटिव थॉट्स पे ड्वेल करेंगे, ब्रीड करेंगे, negativity will come out. Okay, so these both are inside us. Depending upon what you act on, that's what we will become. Okay,
Awesome, awesome. Yes. Hope Abhishek, you have got your answer. Another question, like he has asked, does life exist on other planets too, rather than Earth? And
absolutely.
also, attaching to the question of like to this question, Sudarshan has asked, why God created this universe?
Okay, all right. So now, first question first. Okay, so
Yeah.
do we have life on other planets? Yes, according to our scriptures, it's clearly mentioned. Sarvagata, everywhere the life is there. Wouldn't it be a waste of space? आप सोचिए एक बंगलो लें आप 6 रूम का और सिर्फ एक ही रूम में रहेंगे आप. ऐसा आप बोलेंगे नहीं नहीं ऐसा थोड़ी ना होगा. आई लिव, मैं कुछ फैमिली मेंबर्स मेरे दूसरे रूम में भी रहेंगे. आई आल्सो कीप ऑन मूविंग. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम 6 रूम का लेके एक ही रूम में सब रहेंगे. तो आप सोचिए इतना बड़ा यूनिवर्स. दिस इज द साइज ऑफ द अर्थ. दिस टाइनी डॉट, दैट इज द साइज ऑफ द अर्थ. विल इट नॉट बी ए वेस्ट ऑफ स्पेस? मैं बंगलो बनाऊंगा ही क्यों? अगर मुझको एक ही रूम में रहना है तो मैं एक ही रूम का घर बनाऊंगा ना. तो आप सोचिए विल इट नॉट बी वेस्ट ऑफ स्पेस अगर सिर्फ हम एक सिर्फ इतने से टाइनी से प्लैनेट पे सिर्फ लाइफ है? नो, दैट्स नॉट द केस. लाइफ इज एवरीवेयर, इवन ऑन द सन. टू फॉर दैट आई टोल्ड यू विल डिस्कवर सो मेनी सीक्रेट्स टुडे. इवन ऑन द सन ऑल्सो लाइफ इज देयर. आप सोचिए वी लिव ऑन अर्थ बिकॉज वी हैव अ अर्थली बॉडी. पानी के अंदर भी जीव रहते हैं, हम लोग नहीं रह सकते. But are there any jivas which live under the water also? Yes, because they have a body like that. Similarly, there are few jivas who have a body like fire also. They can live on the fire planet, that is sun planet. So life is everywhere. Okay. Now coming to $1 million question, right? What is the purpose? Everything we said, there is a purpose. So this creation also is there for some purpose. So since we will uncover that in the forthcoming session also, you will get to know what is the purpose. But we have discussed what is the purpose of life: to understand God, the one who intelligence is given to me so that I can go back to him. So in this creation also, when we talk about, there is a 3/4 creation which we don't know about. Even this creation, if we look at it, very little things we know about our creation also. We don't have the complete understanding. There is a range which our eyes can see, that's what we know, but there is a creation beyond that. And this, according to our scripture, this is just the 1/4 creation. There's a 3/4 creation which is Vaikuntha, right? So that's where we have come from because we wanted to enjoy. Like अभी यहाँ से किसी को इमेजिका, you all know, अभी किसी को particular ride, it gives you a thrill. आपको rides लेना होता है, you go to Imagica. So Imagica is also a place, and then big city is also there where we live. So depending upon what ride you want to have, you can go in Imagica, have those rides and come back. That's the purpose of this creation. This creation is like that Imagica, wonderful Imagica created by the Lord. Go enjoy, fulfill your desire, but don't forget that you have to go back home also. You have to come back to your home, to your God, to your parents. Like if you go to Imagica, you will not say, Arey, I'll stay there. You will come back to your home in Pune or wherever you live. Similarly, we are here, but we should not forget in that enjoyment that we have a purpose to go. We have to go back home also to God from where we had come. And this whole creation is created so that you can fulfill your desires and go back to Him. Okay. All right. So this is a nutshell. Forthcoming sessions will unfold that mystery as well. Okay. Wait for that.
Yeah. Actually, sir, students are out of the time and we have extended time. So there are many questions, but we will take in the upcoming sessions. If
Sure.
students want, they can raise their hands and they can unmute themselves to ask the question. Okay, we have Atharva.
Yes,
Atharva, you can
Atharva.
unmute yourself.
Go for it. I think he
Uh,
was on very attentive. I want to
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So my question is, as you said that you should come back to your parents and wherever you want to.
Yeah.
So I personally think this way that I don't want to die where I'm born. Okay.
Hmm.
So is this my thinking that I don't want to die where I'm born is right or wrong?
Okay. First of all, we never die, Atharva.
No, basically
Okay.
when we leave this
Okay.
body.
When we okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now you have used the right word. That's what we
Yeah.
want. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
So I don't want
again,
to leave my body where I am born.
okay.
That's
So
the question.
that choice is, you remember we discussed that choice is not with me. That choice is
Acha.
based on my previous karmas. I cannot decide when to leave the body. I cannot decide what next body I'll get. Abhi, जैसे if you want to buy a flat, how will you decide which flat you want to buy?
My requirements.
Very good.
Maybe
First
accordingly.
is your requirement. That means
Right.
whatever desire you have, that is one thing.
Right.
Okay. What is the other critical factor which you will look at when you want to buy a flat?
Money.
Very good. Money. You should have a buying capacity also.
Right.
In
Right.
other sense, can we say whether you are deserving also?
Right.
So
Exactly.
2 Ds will decide where you go, how do you leave your body, and where do you go next. Okay.
Okay.
Remember that. Whether you what your desires are,
Right.
based on your desire, आपकी इच्छा क्या है, and second is, am I deserving or not? If I'm deserving, I'll get that whatever I want. But if I'm not deserving, just desire will not help. Okay,
Right.
so I
Right.
cannot. So this is not in my hand, because based on my previous karmas, it is decided when I'll leave the body, what next body I'll get. Okay, you'll get
Okay.
more about it in the forthcoming session as well. Okay, I hope you got the idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Atharva. Very nice question. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Atharva, for this wonderful question. Before getting started into anything, let me tell you, friends, technical team has uploaded the test link for this PDW sessions. Please fill the test link. And students who have questions can stay. Officially, we are concluded. Right, sir. Officially, we have concluded this session. Students who want to ask questions or want to hear the questions, we can proceed. Otherwise, students can leave the session. No worry about that. And regarding attendance, who are asking that, sir, attendance ka kya hai? So let me tell you, friends, again, this is a webinar. This is the purchase version of Zoom. And आप कितने टाइम रहते हो और कौन से email से join होता है, ये सबका record होता है. So don't worry about the attendance link, because at the initial days, what we're doing कि हम आपको attendance link भेजते थे, right? तो अब ऐसे इसकी जरूरत नहीं है as such, because we have records of each of your presence. कब आप फिर से rejoin हुए, कब आप left हो रहे हो. So not to worry about attendance link. And the second thing is कि आपको PDW session का जो test है वो technical team ने डाल दिया है. So fill that as that. Okay, and based on that also evaluation will be done. So any other questions who want to ask to sir directly, they can raise their hands and they can unmute themselves. Like we will allow you to unmute themselves. Okay, we have Ruchi. Yes, Ruchi, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yes, Ruchir.
Sir, actually wanted to know how do I find joy in the things like I don't like them, or yeah.
Can you give me an example that will help?
Like
What are the things you don't
sometimes-
like and you want to experience that joy? If you can give me some example, that will help. Yeah.
Sometimes I get I don't like to participate in some events, but the event manager forces us.
Okay.
So
Okay.
how we can do it?
Okay.
So,
All right. So first, So since you said joy, I'll just take that part first and then I'll come to the second part. So joy, first we need to understand what the joy is. What is a true happiness, right? Uh, Happiness is not something like you get beating all 5 days and then the day you are not getting a beating, you'll say, okay, I'm happy. Is that happiness? No, right? So that's what people think when they're going in office. 5 days you get a beating, then 2 days you enjoy, then again 5 days beating. That's not a happiness, right? So true happiness we can experience once we go our understanding when we understand who are we actually, right? When we go explore our inner self, when you feel that communion with the power, with the God, as I was mentioning, that's what will give you the true happiness. um, will it not be, see, suppose if we don't know who our parents are, we have been living for a long life and we don't know who our parents are, suddenly somebody tells, okay, these are your parents, सोचिए आपको कैसा feeling आएगा, right? You will be overfilled with joy. Okay, I have a parents, I am not अनाथ नहीं हूं मैं, right? I'll be so happy. That's the feeling we should get when we want to know about God. It's not, I'm not alone in this universe. Somebody has created, my creator is there, right? So that is the true joy the soul can experience. That communion with the super soul, more understanding about super soul. Okay. Coming to the second part, there are some things which we need to do as a part of our duty also. We may not like everything, right? I may not like to go to office every day, right? But still, that's duty. Some days I would want to work hard. Some days I like my job also. Sometime I, again, I'm sharing with my experience. There are some things which I like doing, right? But again, there are certain things as a part of duty we need to do. Okay. So you will not get, uh, as I said, happiness in everything, whatever you do. So there are certain things as a part of duty also which we need to do. And if we are doing it as a part of duty, that itself will give you the joy. Okay, I did my duty, I did my part. Okay, I didn't like it, still as a duty I did it. You will experience that joy in that also. Okay. All right. Any other question? I'll take one last question and then I'll log off.
Sure. Students can raise their hand. Last question. Okay, Atharva. Yes, Atharva, please proceed.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes,
If
please.
like God created all things, right? We are
Hmm.
assuming that the God created all things.
Hmm.
So my question is that if God is that almighty thing or entity which has
Hmm.
power to create universes with with thoughts, so why are we in this cycle, this karmic cycle, and this
Hmm.
rebirth? Why are we experiencing it? If he can give us like what we call as moksha or mukti by
Hmm.
just thinking of it,
Hmm.
like he is an all powerful entity, right?
Hmm.
So why can't he do that?
Okay.
Or is this just a game for him? Shouldn't we think
Baby.
like we are in human constraints, like we are in human constraints to think of that
Hmm.
almighty self, but
Hmm.
it thinks like little cruel for like a person who is so forgiving in nature, like we call
Hmm.
him mother
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
father, as like he
Hmm.
should be like
Hmm.
shouldn't we in this cycle of
Okay.
karmic, like
Okay.
when we inflict on bad things on others, it
Okay.
also affects like, that's my question.
Sure. Fantastic, Atharva. I think all the Atharvas are intelligent. They're asking intelligent questions, huh? Okay. So, Atharva, one thing we need to understand. Uh, I have not created this universe. You agree? You agree? And you have also not created the universe. Do you agree? Right, Atharva? So at least both of us, we agree that we have not created. Somebody else who has created this universe. Okay. That the person who has created, we are calling it as a God. We don't know anything about him now. As of now, हम सिर्फ ये theory prove कर रहे हैं कि आपने creation नहीं किया, मैंने नहीं किया, नासा ने भी नहीं किया. कोई तो है जिसने किया. ठीक है. क्यों किया, किस पर्पस से किया, वो भी हम थोड़ा सा अंडरस्टैंड कर रहे हैं. आने वाले सेशन में आपको और अंडरस्टैंडिंग मिलेगा. ओके. सो नाउ यू आर सेइंग, यू टॉक्ड अबाउट क्रुएलिटी. आपके पेरेंट्स, डिड एनी टाइम योर पेरेंट्स हिट यू, अथर्वा? कभी भी ऐसा नहीं हुआ? कभी डांट नहीं पड़ा आपको? कभी बाथरूम में बंद किया आपको मम्मी ने? मुझे तो बहुत बार किया है. जब मैं छोटा था शरारत करता था तो मम्मी क्या करते हैं, आपने देखा होगा, मदर्स व्हाट डू दे डू, ऐसा बाथरूम में बंद कर देते हैं, थोड़ी देर अभी शांति रहेगी, है ना, और
Yes
उसके
sir.
बाद ही आपको खोला जाएगा जब आप बिल्कुल, व्हेन यू एग्री, अभी कान पकड़ के अब मैं ये गलती नहीं करूंगा, है ना?
Yes,
तो
sir.
ऐसे ही नेचर, मदर नेचर ने भी हमारे साथ ऐसा ही किया है. सो व्हेन वी से नेचर इज अवर मदर, हु इज अवर फादर? शुड वी नॉट आस्क दैट क्वेश्चन? हम बोलते हैं ना मदर नेचर, सब बोलते हैं.
Yes.
हु इज अवर फादर? देन गॉड इज अवर फादर. अभी आप देखेंगे कि जब आप गलती करते हैं तो एज टोल्ड यू ना, मदर क्या करती है, आपको बंद कर देती है ना?
Yes.
ऐसे ही कोरोना के टाइम मदर नेचर ने किया हमारे साथ. अभी रिसोर्सेज बहुत मिसयूज कर रहे हो आप, एयर को पॉल्यूट कर रहे हो, पानी को पॉल्यूट कर रहे हो, रिसोर्सेज मिसयूज कर रहे हो. अभी थोड़े दिन बंद रहो. अभी 2 साल के लिए बंद किया हमें, सोचिए मदर नेचर ने. अगर हम अभी भी नहीं सुधरेंगे तो क्या होगा, और लंबा बंद करना पड़ेगा. तो क्या होता है कि कभी छोटी मिस्टेक करते हैं तो छोटी सजा मिलता है ना? इवन अवर पेरेंट्स डू दैट. बड़ी सजा करते हैं तो कभी कभी थप्पड़ भी पड़ता है, राइट?
Yes, sir.
है ना? तो सिमिलरली आर यू, सो इफ अगर पेरेंट्स ने आपको ऐसा बंद किया और थप्पड़ लगाया, डज दैट मीन दे आर क्रूअल?
No.
That
They
does
have
not mean
reason
they are
for it.
cruel. They want you to reform. Okay? उसके लिए
Yes,
कभी
sir.
किसी को थोड़ा टाइम लगता है, किसी को ज्यादा टाइम लगता है. कोई आंख दिखा, आपने देखा वो कोई बच्चे आंख ही दिखाओ डर जाते हैं, बट कई
Yes,
ऐसे
sir.
हैं जिनको 2 थप्पड़ भी लगा फिर भी वो नहीं सुधरता है ना? So similarly, this different punishments are given to us depending upon the various deeds.
Yes, sir.
Again, God is all loving. He's always wants us to be, he wants us to purify and come back immediately. But it's us that we are not ready, because we have so many anarthas in us.
Yes, sir.
So we have to work on purification of those anarthas. That is the purpose of human life, so that we can purify. Do we all agree we have anarthas? Lust, काम, काम है
Yes,
हमारे
sir.
अंदर. हमारा काम पूरा नहीं होता तो हमें क्रोध आता है, राइट? एंड वी आर
Yes.
ग्रीडी ऑल्सो. जितना हमें चाहिए उससे ज्यादा हमारी ग्रीड है, राइट? महात्मा गांधी said there is enough in this world for everyone's need, but not enough for one person's greed, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
similarly we have those anarthas. So God is ready to take us back anytime and he's ready to give us everything. But आप देखिए, अब बच्चा गलती करता है तो फिर मदर फादर उस पर सैंक्शन लगा देते हैं. अभी आप अपने को पहले ठीक करो, सुधारो, देन विल गिव यू. अभी आपने ये अच्छा कार्य किया तो अभी आपको और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मिलेगी. कंपनी में भी ऐसे ही होता है ना, जब आप अच्छा काम करते हैं आपको प्रमोशंस मिलते हैं. दैट्स हाउ यू ग्रो. आप कुछ गड़बड़ करते हैं तो आपको फिर you might get a demotion also, you might get a pay cut also. So similarly, that's how God also deals with us, like a
Yes, sir.
loving parent. He will give us, but it all depends upon how much purification we have done for ourselves. Okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Thank you everyone for nice, interesting questions, and I think everybody was participating nicely. Grateful to all of you, and thanks to for inviting me. It was wonderful speaking to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. Okay,
Thank you.
students, don't leave. Before getting started, let me share my screen and show you something. Okay, so as we have already showed and discussed about you this regarding the mentors, most of you have got the calls from my mentors also, right? So हम क्या करने वाले बेसिकली जो चीजें आपको डाउट्स आ रही है, राइट? अभी कैसा हो रहा है, सेशंस हो रहे हैं, बहुत सारे बच्चों के क्वेश्चंस रह गए, मैं बार बार डाल रहा था पोस्ट, मैं वही बोल रहा था जिसके फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व बेसिस पे हम क्वेश्चन ले रहे हैं. बट अभी बहुत सारे जनों के क्वेश्चंस रह गए, जैसे राज के रह गए, प्रतीक के रह गए, और बहुत बड़े क्वेश्चन. थिंग इज दैट हम क्या करने वाले, ये क्वेश्चंस को ट्राई करने वाले सॉल्व पे ऑन पर्सनल लेवल. सो व्हाट वी विल डू, चाहे एकेडमिक्स हो या कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम हो इन योर लाइफ एस्पेक्ट्स, वी विल प्रोवाइडिंग यू मेंटर्स. लाइक 15-20 स्टूडेंट्स को एक मेंटर दिया जाएगा, एंड रिगार्डिंग दैट आपके ग्रुप बन जाएगा, एंड दैट मेंटर विल हेल्प यू to solve your queries regarding PDW and SW or anything, literally anything. Okay, so they will help you based on the experience and knowledge they have. और वो कौन रहने वाले, बेसिकली वो हमारे सीनियर्स रहने वाले, और persons who were senior earlier, और जो working professionals भी अभी. Okay, and also जो कॉलेज के जो सिलेबस है या कुछ भी डाउट्स है रिगार्डिंग कॉलेज एकेडमिक्स एनीथिंग, they will in that also. एंड रिगार्डिंग द मेंटर्स, तो अभी मेंटर्स कैसे काम करेंगे, एज आई मेंशनड यू, इसमें कुछ डिस्कशन सर्कल्स वगैरह रहेंगे, एंड 15-20 मिनट्स बस रहेंगे, बस वीकली बेसिस पे 15-20 मिनट्स रहेंगे कि क्या क्या क्वेश्चन है, क्योंकि अभी कैसा होता है 1 आवर का सेशन चलता है एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल्स डोंट गेट टाइम, या फिर पीपल का कुछ दूसरा शेड्यूल्स होता है, राइट? सो हमें हम ऑफिशियली अनाउंस करना पड़ता है कि वी आर डन, यू कैन लीव द सेशन, बट व्हाट हैपेंस कि बहुत सारे जनों के क्वेश्चंस रह जाते हैं in this case, and that is the thing. We have got a solution to this, कि we will be providing you mentors, and very soon in this coming week you will be added to your mentor classroom or group in the Wise app or WhatsApp, so that you can contact your mentor, और जब वो आपको कॉल करेंगे या फिर आपको नंबर मिल जाएगा, you can save the number and you can frequently ask the questions that you have in your mind. Okay. So by saying this, let's conclude this session. Thank you everyone for joining us today here. I'm very much thankful to you for asking these interesting questions and making this session very wonderful. So जो स्टूडेंट्स ने टेस्ट नहीं दिया है भाई, प्लीज भर दो टेस्ट, आपके सर्टिफिकेशन का सवाल है, इवैल्यूएशन उस पे ही होने वाला है, और STW PDW दोनों भी अच्छे से दो बाबा, उस पे आपके इवैल्यूएशन होने वाला है, अटेंडेंस इज आल्सो वेरी कंपल्सरी. So considering this two both aspects in your mind, please give the test, and thank you again for joining this session and making this session very wonderful. और सही में आप स्टूडेंट्स बहुत ब्राइट, आपके क्वेश्चंस बहुत वंडरफुल. So thank you again for joining us in the evening. Thank you everyone.